So the thought has always been in the past that a household is comprised of two people, right? A man and a woman. And, you're building a family from that. That is the structure that has been the foundation of households in the United States for as long as we can remember. But if you keep in mind, if you come to this channel and you check in with me every so often, I'm constantly talking about how quickly things are changing. And the baseline concept of what a household is has also just changed. So married couple households just dropped to under half of all U.S. households. All of them. We, meaning women, people in their solo season, women in their solo season, that's my audience. We are no longer the exception. We are now the rule. Think about that. So welcome back. This is Sit and Speak Your Truth. I'm Z, and here we no longer pretend that we're the exception because we know now what? We are the rule. So as of 2025, married couple households make up less than half of all households in the U.S. And this is according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Think about that for a second. Because most financial advice out there in the ether, right, was written assuming the opposite, assuming two incomes, two names on a mortgage, someone to split the bills with when things get a little tight, right? If you've ever felt like the standard money plan didn't quite fit in your life, it's because it genuinely didn't. It wasn't built with us in mind as single people. It was built for a household type that statistically now, as of 2025, isn't even the majority anymore. Not. And that is exactly why I found a system that works for me, that is a done-for-you digital income program, right? That is built for one income, one schedule, one person deciding what happens next. There's no partner's paycheck required, no waiting on someone else's plan or someone else's raise. I found the system, I looked into the system, and it is phenomenal. And so I bought it. And since I bought it, I also bought the rights to resell it. So this system is what is helping me build something for myself now. And it is precisely why I'm not concerned about the we that really doesn't exist in my life at the moment. So most retirement calculators, most budgeting templates, most financial freedom content online is quietly built around that two-income household, right? When you're building a loan, every recommendation needs translating. You need to cut it in half or build up from a single foundation instead of two. And that kind of invisible mismatch, it is exhausting. Even when nobody names it directly, naming it is the first step to building a plan that actually works for the life that you're living right now. A life of being in a solo season, being on your own and doing life on your own. Not the one where, the advice that you're given is advice for two, because that is not your situation. And I know this from the inside because after relocating to Panama on my own, I had to build every part of my financial plan around one income. And that was just me. And there was, there is no fallback paycheck. There's no second name on an account to lean on if the month was tight. That reality forced me to get honest real fast about what actually works for someone building on their own versus what sounds good in a plan written for two. And the turning point wasn't, let me find a partner to split things with. No. It was realizing that I didn't need to wait for one to build financial stability for myself. And once I actually put the brakes and I stopped measuring, my plan against a two-income household that didn't exist in my life, I could finally build something that actually fit. And that's why I love Legacy Builders, because it's done for you and structured around what one person working 2 hours a day can realistically build, and sustain online. It doesn't require a partner's time, a partner's credit, or a partner's buy-in. It's income that you build and you control entirely on your own. And this is for every single woman who is in a solo season, whether she's single, divorced, widowed, whatever, and has been quietly building this life solo, sometimes without anyone acknowledging how much harder that math actually is. You know, you are not the exception in this country anymore. Married couple households are the minority now, and you are the norm. And there are more than 61,000 people already building inside of this system. Plenty of them building on exactly just one income, exactly like you might be. This isn't a someday when I have a partner to share the load with plan. It works today. It works for you as a single person in a solo season on your own. And maybe you've told yourself building real financial independence alone is harder or slower or riskier. And some of that is true. You know, building alone does take more from you. It does take a little more time, but it also means that every bit of what you build is entirely and unquestionably yours. No one to negotiate with, no one to, determine together how things get spent, saved, or grown. This is your income. This is your financial future that you are creating, building abundantly. I want you to picture your financial plan actually reflecting your real life. One income that is fully optimized, fully automated, fully yours, instead of a half translated version of advice that was meant for someone else's household. That's not a smaller version of financial freedom. That's a more honest one. And building on your own terms also means being ready to move on your own terms, right? So if you ever need to move on your own terms, I want you to check the description below, because I've created a free relocation checklist and a 120-day emergency exit guide for women that are seeking and looking for ways, to have a backup plan in the event that you need to leave quickly, or if you're looking to leave and relocate now. The links are below in the description for you. So we are not doing this alone in some sad, isolated way. We're doing it as a new norm, because we're now the norm. We're no longer the outsider. We're no longer the freak that people look at and feel sad about. Oh, they're by themselves. They don't have anyone. No, solo people in a solo season are the majority of people in the U.S. right now. Whether that's a good, bad, or indifferent, I don't know. But what we need to do is we need to recognize it, acknowledge it, and then figure out how to capitalize on it so that it works for us. So if any of this resonated with you, if you are in your solo season and you are really looking at finances and how to be able to create more income, whether you want to, keep your 9-to-5 if you have one and just have a little something on the side, or if you have Social Security and you just want a little cushion, or if you out and out just really are done with working the normal 9-to-5 job and you want to be able to build something for yourself where you have the ability to have financial freedom, to live the life that you want to live. Spend your time the way you want to spend it, whether you're spending it with family and friends, or your children, or your grandkids, or you're just out in nature traveling the world. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it with this system. So if you want to learn more about how you can make this your reality, and trust me, you can, I want you to comment my truth below. I'm going to personally send you the Freedom Blueprint, and I want you to take a look at it, because we all deserve the right to be financially free. We all need to take the time to make sure that we are adequately prepared. And we just need to be not afraid to live our best life, whatever that means for us. Okay? Lovelies, thank you so much for sticking around and returning to the channel. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Give me a like, comment below, and I'm going to see you tomorrow. And as I always tell my lovelies, please, HOAS, keep your head on a swivel. The world is crazy right now. I want you to make sure that when you're out amongst the living, that you are aware of your surroundings and that you are always and forever speaking your truth. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Much love.